Welcome back to another episode of Get Weird with me, Brittany Barbieri. I hope that everyone listening had an incredible Thanksgiving, that you were able to disconnect, relax, step away, eat as much food as you wanted without guilt, as many pieces of pie, dessert, pumpkin pie, that you could ever have wanted until you were so stuffed you sat on the sofa and fell asleep due to heavy food coma. That is a fantastic Thanksgiving, is it not? And since I love Christmas and I pause for one day, that's how I spent my Thanksgiving. I'm pausing and I'm stuffing my face. No judgment. That's what I love. I may or may not have worn sweatpants. I'm just going to leave it there. Everybody who has seen me knows I have no shame. Okay. So in honor of today, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you might be traveling to a said store or to your sofa to shop on Amazon, but it's Black Friday. Now, when I was growing up, Black Friday meant something completely different. These online stores and shopping through Amazon, Shein, and Temu did not exist. It was you either spent the night in a tent hoping that you were the first to get into the store, to get that toy, to get that TV, to get that boom box, whatever it was that your heart desired. And you, like, the streets turned to war really fast. People went to hospitals. Okay. This was like intense. You padded up, you were ready, and you were ready to take down Debbie in line for what she was holding, because that was going to your kids for Christmas. Period. End of story. Debbie, you're going down. Your knees are hitting the ground. Might have a broken hip. You're going to the hospital. I want that. I want that boombox right there. So that's what I grew up with. A lot of people don't know that era in this younger generation, but man, that was like, you got scars and you still tell those stories today. And I mean, even episodes on Friends would tell stories of freaking Black Fridays, but it was the best. So in honor of this podcast of Get Weird, what did I do? I was like, what could I do? There's so many stories out there, right? That I could dig into, a cryptid, a paranormal, something fun, for Thanksgiving. But what would really creep somebody out right now? Why they might be trying to go to Target or go to the mall. Do we still go to the mall? Is that still a thing? I mean, is that really still a thing these days? Some malls, yes. But I digress. I want to creep you out and make you feel weird if you are going to a store to get that special Black Friday deal. So I dug into Black Friday to find out if there are any strange or weird phenomenons. And to my surprise, there is. And it is known as the phantom shoppers. I'm not kidding you. The haunted retail shift phenomenon. It is a real thing that happens. So imagine you're working like the night shift, right? You're stocking the store, you're getting it ready for the next day. Lights are getting dim, you're closing up, everything's locked. And then suddenly you hear a shopping cart just moving by itself down the aisles, or you hear laughter, or you hear somebody yelling across your retail store. And you're like, what? I know that there is nobody in here. I locked it up myself. I am the last person leaving, but you are literally sitting there hearing this happening. This is a real phenomenon that employees at stores across, as far as I know, the US, might be in other places, have actually talked about amongst each other. And in some places, there are some stores, they don't want to close up by themselves at night because they're like, I hear things and it doesn't make any sense. So, listen, I think it's so cool. There was actually a quote from an employer. This is a dark hole if you ever want to go down. It's actually pretty fun. Reddit has a lot of goodies on there from past employees talking about stuff. There was an employee that once had heard someone whisper, "Do you have this in my size?" And there was literally nobody there. First of all, if you're going to haunt a place, really, you're going to be like, "Do you have this?" Do you really want the employee to offend a ghost and be like, I think you could take a size larger? I'm just saying. I mean, you got to like lie to get out of your store alive. I'm just saying. So this Get Weird, we're just going to get a little weird and a little fun because you're probably driving right now to a store. So I really want to creep you out. So you're welcome. Hey, I'm your friend B. So you have to imagine working in a store with this type of phenomenon. And like let's say you're fresh out of high school and you've got to make this money. And they're like, hey, Bobby, you're closing the store late. And you're like, yeah, no problem. And then all of a sudden, all this starts happening. Do you keep your job? Do you like stay, or do you talk to the owners and we're like, hey, I think your store is haunted? And they're like, oh, those sounds you hear, it sounds like shoppers? And that happens all the time, you know? So, I mean, energy loops happen. Sound frequencies, sound waves happen left and right. They happen all the time, right? But this also could be a manifestation of sorts. Like, I mean, there's so much to this, but you have to think about it. There's like emotional energy, there's stress, there's anxiety, there's panic, there's chaos, there's greed, and there's exhaustion when it comes to Black Friday, because Christmas is upon us within a few weeks. You got to get those deals. You got to get in, get what you want. We've all seen Jingle All the Way, folks. We all want a Turbo Man doll, okay, for our kids. So we're going to beat somebody up to get it. And nobody wants the other action figures. Nobody wants the second players to Turbo Man. Are you kidding me right now? That doesn't happen. We have to have Turbo Man. He saves the day. So that's where my mind goes, right? So when you look into the reports, we have shared reports from mostly night staff and security personnel, some of which have said, like the doors and some of the sliding doors, like the electric doors that open and close when people get close, open and close by themselves. Right? Sensor doors. Could be a normal explanation. Could be a paranormal explanation. Could be phantom Black Friday shoppers. Carts moving on their own. Apparently, even with the wheels locked, they're still forcefully moving down an aisle. Explain that one to me, science. I want to know this. Registers turning on all by themselves. Could be a technical issue. I'm just going to throw out something, right? Barcode scanners. I like this one. The barcode scanners going off in an empty line as if somebody's ringing something up. Beep, beep, beep. First of all, that would drive me insane. I'd be like, turn off, turn off, turn off. People have actually reported, employees have heard children's laughter in toy aisles. Oh, that creeps me out. Sorry. Here's where we get weird. You ready? You ready? Ooh. Fingers or silhouettes seen on security camera, yet nobody is present. I'd quit. I would quit. I'd be so fast out that door. Badge would be like, ping, off. There I went. I went running. You didn't even, goodbye. Like, nope, keep my check. What did I make today? $9 for that 1 hour I was here? Goodbye. Fingers. No, I'm out. That takes me back to Red Rose. What was that? No, Red Rose, something. You guys know what I'm talking about, that horror movie. No, fingers, any fingers climbing around anything, conjuring stuff, no, I'm done. I'm done. That takes me back to like the nun with the fingers around the portrait. Oh, I'm out. I'm freaking out. Like, there's no discussion. I've seen too much. The room is now yours. Goodbye. You own it. Peace out. This whole retail store is yours. Burlington Coat Factory, own all the coats. They're all yours. I hope they all fit. I'm not helping you tailor them. Another one, creep factor, takes me back to a couple Christmas movies. Mannequins have been known to move or rotate on their own overnight. Now, there's either some heavy rats moving around in there, moving some mannequins around, or you might need to get your air conditioners fixed. Maybe they're moving stuff when you're not there. Or the old legend is true. They come to life at night. They get possessed. It's Ghostbusters people in the flesh. It's happening. Another one that actually does get reported quite a lot is items getting knocked off shelves in certain aisles repeatedly. Like, they'll put it up, they go to walk down, it knocked right back over again. Go back down, put it up, they check to make sure the shelves level, everything is fine, start walking, same item, down again. Okay, what? Right? Crazy. I don't think your grandmother from beyond the grave is trying to tell you, you need to eat Velveeta mac and cheese, not Kraft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's think about this. Anyway, there was one recurring claim that said it only happens when the store is completely empty. Very strange. So you would think the energy of people might create like a poltergeist type of activity, right? But if there's nobody in the store, then perhaps the one person closing the store is containing their own poltergeist activity, causing this to happen. And they just don't know it. It is possible. It is possible. Many coworkers and employees have been noted to, when these things happen, these phenomenons take place, they have refused to go into certain zones of the retail stores alone, such like the back storage stock rooms, fitting rooms, clearance aisles. That's the one I don't get. Clearance aisles? What? Does a bargain scare you? Electronics section, which would make sense because if it's high in EMF, we're talking electromagnetic frequencies. If you are more sensitive and in tune with your body, I could see somebody feeling that energy as if you feel like you're being watched when you're really not. It's just high electromagnetic, frequencies, a big high frequency field, and you're more susceptible to it. So it's giving you that creep vibe, and you're like, I don't want to go there. I feel like I'm being watched. And the other person's like, what are you talking about? There's like nobody here. It's just Jenga and freaking Yahtzee. What are you talking? But to you, you're feeling the frequency vibrations in the atmosphere that's vibrating you, and you're reacting to it, and you feel like you're being watched. So I can understand why some people are like, I'm out. I don't want to go. I'll go with you, but it makes me feel a little more comfortable, but I'm not going down there. Fair enough. I don't know. Some people have claimed like there's certain times at night that this happens. Now, there also have been like on top of like phantom shoppers. There's been like even in hospitals and nursing homes and things like that, different places, doctor's office, things like this, where they claim to have seen the person, but the person hasn't been there, or the person died. Or I love the one about animals. There was one about a phantom cat that would come in the front door. Like you could physically see this cat come in the front door of this lobby, turn right where the front lobby desk is, and it just disappeared in thin air. And it would recur over and over and over again, and nobody could figure out why. And they finally were just like, listen, we have a ghost cat. We don't know how to explain it. The cat comes in and it disappears in front of our eyes. Like it like goes into its own portal. I love those. There's hundreds of those online. And if you ever have the time to read those, like, it's so funny to see the banter between people. They're like, it's a cat. It probably just snuck out of you and you just didn't see it. And they're like, I was literally staring at the cat because it came in through the front door. So it's really funny. If you ever just go down that rabbit hole, it's fun to see about the animals that come by and people like see them and then they're just like gone. I love those. Anyway, motion detectors being triggered, setting off alarms when nothing is visible. A couple of security cameras have caught human-shaped blurs, what they say walking at impossible speeds in front of the cameras being caught. Shadows that bend around corners. I'm out. Again, shadow figures. Bye. There's my apron. I'm not working here. Goodbye. Footsteps that don't seem to match a normal human pace. Okay, well, if they're a Black Friday shopper, they may have just speeded up a little bit to get to that aisle before you do. I'm just saying. Or they think they do. I don't know. I would hate for my eternity to be a Black Friday special every day of my life, like Groundhog Day. Could you imagine that's your eternity? What did you do to piss off God to make that be your eternity? You need to think about it. Get right now while you have the chance. I'm just saying, this is your warning. Automatic doors opening and closing. We talked about this. This was another report that somebody had mentioned from their store, was their automatic doors opening and closing. So we have to look at what happened on the ground prior to the building being built. Is it really phantom shoppers, or is there more to it than what we're fathoming, right? We're just going to like, oh my gosh, it's just the echoes of people from the past coming to shop. No, I don't think so. There could be so much more to this than we are not understanding and may never fully understand, because some of these grounds had hospitals on them before they were leveled and made into a shopping mall. So, I mean, we also have to look at a lot of other really sad situations that have taken place on public property that, people decide that they just don't want to be here anymore. And they have done these in very public places. And that energy is not positive. That's a negative energy imprinting into the frequency of that location. So you don't know what negativity is being left behind from some of these. We also have medical emergencies that happens at stores, restaurants, malls, things like this. You also have people that are employees that work, and they bring a lot of negative energy sometimes with them into spaces, and that negative energy can eventually turn into something. So again, leftover bad energy could also transform or manifest into a type of ghostly shadow figure. These are incidences that we know, that we like to say in pseudoscience, scientific explanation of frequency, energy being put off from one's body, especially in parapsychology. We look into this a lot when it comes to even like poltergeist activity. It's an energy within us, mostly seen more in females than males. So this is it going through puberty. And so when we have our cycles monthly, sorry ladies, but we do put off a pretty big energy. So it's kind of the get away from me energy. You know what I'm saying? Just stay away. Let me have my chocolates and leave me alone. Because even looking at your face right now, I want to punch you. Like, you're not even talking to me and I just want to punch you in your throat. We've all been there, ladies. We've all been there. So again, we have so much that's possible, and what these things could be built on top of. Old hospitals, old cemeteries, which in Tampa, we had an apartment complex built on top of an old cemetery. Sounds like a movie we all know. I know what you're thinking, but it's true. You can look it up and read all about it. So again, there's a lot to the idea of phantom shoppers. And I know that right now you're sitting there going, great, thanks, Brittany. I'm heading to Target right now. And it's like, maybe you're listening to me right before closing. Sorry that it's dark out and I'm sending you in the store, but just be mindful that there could be fingers reaching around the clothes that you go to grab that aren't there. You're welcome. But again, we could dive into theories. We could dive into thoughts. A thought that formed what we think of like a shopping spirit, manifestation of mass consumption, right? When people start believing, then it starts becoming something. That's a possibility. We saw this in what we believe happened and why we have, they put it in cryptozoology, and I don't like it in cryptozoology. It's more of a paranormal phenomenon known as the rake. The rake is something that is believed to have been brought and created on this planet as an entity made from one's mind and manifestation of mass idea, I should say, of a consumption of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm going to draw a blank. Consciousness. There it is. Of like a mass consciousness of this coming to life. That's why we kind of see these rakes coming and going, but they're really not of this world, if that makes sense. It's really deep. Look into it. That's another weird topic. Maybe I will share the story of the rake or the fallen angels that were allegedly caught on camera. That video literally terrified me for years, because I sat there and was like, what if these guys, and I want to say it was like Russian or something. It was a foreign language, two guys. And they're like, what is all this stuff on the ground? And then like falling. And then they see this thing crouched down in the bushes, and it like looks over its shoulder and looks at them. Listen to me, people. You want to get creeped and weirded out one night? If there's a way I can find it in the deep corners of YouTube, I'm going to tell you what the name of it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to look for it. I'm going to do an episode on it. And it's going to creep you guys out, because if this thing was hoaxed, I want to go hire those guys right now to help me make my films, because dang, it was good. Like, it literally looked like the wings had been broken off this thing's back. It was incredible. Bravo. I'm sure it was faked, because let's face it, everything seems to be faked. But if it wasn't, y'all, I don't know how deep into the woods you want to go at night in whatever country this was, but you probably don't. Anyway, so there's a lot. I digress so often, so sorry, you just kind of have to keep up with my brain. But back to phantom shoppers. These reports come from all over the United States, from different department stores. Some of these are 24-hour superstores, like Walmart's, right, across the United States. Some of them also are abandoned malls, which I think are so cool. We have some of those that they like to film in and stuff. I think one of them might have been, or I shouldn't say was one, but the abandoned mall is similar to what they use for like Stranger Things type things, right? Like where people go and they do those abandoned YouTube channels where and I think those things are so cool. So those are a lot of where the reports are from too. There's also some reports when I was digging through this, like phantom shoppers and people hearing things in stores that aren't there. There were a couple Walmarts, I think, out there that had some people, like employees, saying, I'm pretty sure our Walmart is haunted, but I can't tell for sure. There also were parking garages where people had claimed to have heard somebody saying, help me. Now listen, folks, that might be legit. Okay. Don't put it past today. Just saying. So I did stumble across some of those. And then, of course, dressing rooms where people feel watched, which is interesting to me, but also we're looking at high electric fields because of the lighting, the electrical wiring in there. It could just be giving off as their copper wiring. Copper's been known to give people the feeling of being watched because it actually like resonates with the body, sets off the frequency awareness within our own body. And so we will feel like we're being watched. And too much copper, believe it or not, can actually make you very sick. So keep that in mind, because we used to have, so when I used to do investigations into old buildings, we would have people that would buy these buildings not understand how much copper was still in the building itself. And then they would be like, oh, well, we get nauseous, so we went and got the copper bands, blah, blah, blah. And they were literally pumping their bodies so much with just copper, and they were making themselves sick. And by the time we found out what was going on, it was like, oh my gosh, the root of this is the copper. Like we have to figure out how to remove this. You can only be exposed to so much copper in your body before it actually can start making you sick. So that was something really cool that I learned very early on in my investigations. And again, when we look at ways of manifestation, right, of a consciousness thing, you have to imagine, like, take today, for example. It's a high stress retail day and weekend, frankly, Black Friday. So you have panic buying, you have greed energy, you've got aggression, survival instinct, right? Like, I've got to make it out this line to get this doll or TV or whatever I want. You've got tunnel vision. You are set to get that deal because you knew that's what you wanted all week long. And now somebody got it from you, right? It turns into like a mob mentality, right? Where you're just rushing in to get what you want, fast, furious. Again, could turn into a consciousness of like a being. Just saying. There's greed theory. There's like creating like a creature of greed. So when we look at these types of stories, I'm left with wondering if there are any listeners out there that have experienced something either in a store that they frequent a lot, like they've had some creepy experiences and they think their local grocery store or whatever could be haunted. If you're an employee of a past establishment, whether it be a restaurant, retail store, grocery store, whatever, and you've experienced something, whether in the parking lot, in the stock room, in the room at night, stocking, the Publix at night, whatever, Walgreens, whatever, have you experienced something? I like hearing this. I don't think there's anything wrong sharing this. I'm sure there's a lot of retail stores that don't want that getting out there because of fear of having people come to their stores. And then I'm sure a lot of retail stores are probably like, yeah, whatever. Our employees at Walmart say that our store might be haunted. I mean, there are some really weird Walmart stories out there for you. That's another hole to go down when it comes to like hauntings. It's kind of creepy. But I'm curious if any of my listeners have experienced anything of a sort similar to this, like phantom shoppers, ghostly apparitions, weird sounds, doors opening and closing inside of an establishment that is not yours. That's a public establishment. I am very curious. I know there's haunted restaurants across the United States, and I find all of this extremely fascinating. But the idea of phantom Black Friday shoppers just tickled me, of hearing employees talking about getting the stores ready, and they could hear things in the store when nobody was there. I find that fascinating, people. I absolutely find that fascinating. So again, Maybe that random chill that you feel at the store while you're trying to get your TV, it might not be the air conditioning. It might actually be somebody creeping up on you to get your bargain deal. I'm going to leave you with that. You're so welcome. So, this has been a fun Get Weird for me. I was actually very excited to record this one for you guys because I was like, wait a minute. There's phantom ghostly shoppers? You guys are lying. The internet is Google, you're a liar. And then it wasn't lying. There were people even on Facebook talking about it. So I was like, oh, all right, Google, I'll give you a pass. You're not lying this time, because sometimes I catch you in a lot of lies, my friend. And don't ChatGPT me, my friend, because you're a liar too. Anyway, I did dive into it. It was fun. But I'm really glad that you guys stayed to listen. I hope you had a good laugh. Go enjoy your shopping. Don't listen to me ramble anymore. Go have fun. It's Black Friday. You're probably not working. And if you are, I know it's a slow day. So enjoy it. And then enjoy the weekend. Here in Florida, we got a cold front. Thank you. Thank you for the cold front. I love it. It's that time of year where the seasons need to be here. I just need freaking seasons. It can't be summer all the time. Like, it doesn't feel right. I don't want to build a sandman. I want to build a snowman during Christmas time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the Hallmark mentality kind of gal. It doesn't make sense. I don't want a lit palm tree. I want a lit pine tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Anyway, do what you do best. Keep listening. Keep being awesome. Enjoy your day. Maybe eat another slice of pumpkin pie. And until next time, my amazing listeners, stay weird.